I'm back. And this one is a separate live video. I can perform live because I record anyway and I don't like to do multiple takes, so I just do live. So here's what we do. It's basically like live. This is what I do when I record myself. Currently waiting for the lady in the ladies meeting. I just got somebody on here. Samuel is watching. All right. You just missed the last video, but you got this one. It says I could bring you on camera. I don't know how to do that. Hi, Sam. I just got your message. I can press wave. I just waved at you by pressing a button. I could have done this, but I pressed a button instead to wave. You know what? No, I better not start my car because if I do that, then the sound connects with the Bluetooth. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is talk about Yom. Oh, Sam wants to be in your video. Why don't we try this out? Approve. Let's see. What cam to video? I'm at the subway down the street from where I dropped Jenny off at a ladies' meeting. There he is. We're both live. This is so cool. Here's your opportunity.
This is how we can have our conversations we've talked about.
Oh, you're totally right. Yeah. Now it's blocking my face. I don't like that. I like to see my face. I'm just kidding. No, the messages are.
Well, trust me, you look just fine.
Cool. So basically, it's going to say that you're live too on your feed, and maybe we can attract more viewers.
Attract more viewers. It says we have one still, but I don't think it's true.
That one is you. I had Donna Boyd on the last one, but she didn't transfer over. Wait, we've got two now.
No, yeah, we've got Travis Dingy and Rob Sauber.
Oh, it just went back down to one on my end. So, yeah. So, what do you want to talk about? I've got this. Okay, why don't we do this live? Because I've got this material here on the days of creation, and I have some thoughts that I've probably kept to myself. I don't know. I typed them to you one time. But here's the thing, okay? On day one, he makes the light. And he divides the light from the darkness. And he calls the light day. And he calls the the darkness night. And the evening and the morning are the first day. So my first question is a day a 12-hour period or a 24-hour period? Because if it's a 24-hour period, how many hours does that leave for the night? Go.
That's a real question. I'm so used to watching videos of you. I was like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do now? So 12 hours. It says the day, the light was day.
Uh-huh.
And the darkness he called night.
Uh-huh. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So is a day 12-hour period or is it a 24-hour period?
Well, the evening, morning, the day and the night were the first day. It seems like that's what it's talking about.
Okay, so then a day, hi Cindy, Ann. So a day can be a 12-hour period and also a 24-hour period, right?
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, he called the day he called the light day, and the light is only for a 12-hour period, right? Hi, Jeff Hawks.
Yeah, but see, the thing, Scott, is words have multiple definitions. So.
Okay, so the day has multiple definitions. Then that's what you're saying.
No. Like you could say one day I'm going to do this, and that means a completely different thing than yesterday or today, or it's like I don't know. I feel like calling it day, it means daylight, like day. It's daytime, nighttime,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is it a time period or?
Just don't count the nights. Either way, you're talking about one lunar day or whatever.
A lunar day would be a month.
Okay, so whatever.
That just made you look really bad. Okay.
You look bad. I am not a scientist.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, so that's the first thing. And here's my point, okay? So.
I think your point is not.
What?
Well, your point's clear, isn't it?
Well, my point is, if this is suggesting that two different times can be equal, which I have other further supporting scripture to back that up, um, then it's suggesting something that scientists also believe today, right?
Which is,
Well, that time is a variable and two different measurements of time, which is scriptural, can equal the same.
well, I think time is, yeah, a variable. I mean, depending on how fast you're going, technically, whatever. I don't know.
It's not only that. Okay, so here's one point before we go on. He calls the light day, he calls the darkness night. Two different measurements of time, or two measurements of time as we would ascribe to them. All right. So scientifically, if you travel to the speed of light, time stops. Okay. So that's the stopping point of time. The other boundary of time is in a gravitational field. The stronger the gravitational field, the slower time uh, ticks off until you get to the event horizon, which is known to exist at a black hole. So you have two measurements of time, but also, so the speed of light, time stops, gravitational field, time stops. Now, to me, that's not a coincidence that God called the light day, and at the speed of light, time stops, and he calls the darkness night, and at the gravitational field, at a black hole, which is dark, time stops. Okay,
Which
Don
is dark.
avoids that, huh?
Which is dark.
Yeah, it's dark. Okay, and that's going to come in later on as well. Those scientific, I'm pretty sure they're accepted as fact. There's no way to prove it, I guess, but uh, they've they've got very good supporting evidence for that. So just a coincidence that those two measurements of time are attributed to light and darkness, and I say the darkness is alluding to the force of gravity. Okay, and as he divides the light from the darkness, he divides at least some of the four forces, if not all of them. And it is believed that all four forces were unified at some point. And the forces of electromagnetism, weak and strong nuclear force are all attributed to light. And the force of gravity is not. Just an interesting fact. Okay, so moving forward. Oh, by the way, I also believe that day one was an entire singularity, like a black hole. Okay, started off like a black hole. When a star collapses, they believe this to be true. I don't know if they've ever observed it to happen, but they believe this to be true. Okay, a star runs out of energy, it collapses under its own weight and forms a black hole. So a black hole is an energyless entity full of matter without any mass or volume. Okay, there's no space inside a black hole. That's a void in the universe. Okay, so it's basically a bubble. The event horizon is like the edge of space. There is no space inside that black hole. Okay, and that is what scientists actually believe that the universe started out to be, some kind of singularity of a black hole. And uh, and somehow it just exploded. All right. So as God inputs light or energy, and the word or is light with the first. Okay, the first, or no, energy, power with the first. So the first power. Okay, that's what the word in Hebrew or the letters mean. The first power. Okay, and of course we know light was the first power. So that energy is infused into the black hole, thereby perhaps expanding it. Right? It's a singularity that perhaps is expanding, but not separating yet. It's one singularity of energy, and at some point, the energies or the powers, forces, are separated. Okay, as that happens, and then on day two, you have the expansion of space itself that divides the mayim from the mayim, or waters from the waters. Okay, and that word water would describe everything, the state of fluidity. Okay, but we won't get into that for now. But I said all that to say this, that Yom Akid would be day one, And akid is the word that is used for in Hebrew for unity, oneness, singularity. So it's the day of singularity. Very interesting. Okay. Moving on. Now we go to the day 4 because we're this is about Yom.
Just
The word.
expect your wife to pop into the car at any moment.
No, I'm not even close to her. She's going to be in a meeting for like 2 hours, so maybe an hour and maybe an hour more, something like that. She'll text me or something. Hey, it's time to go. Okay, so Ma'or is the same word as Aor, which is light, only with a mem in the front of it. And the mem, which is like an M for us, is a picture of a wave of water. It has 3 arcs in the ancient Hebrew. Okay, so it's basically the a light source that comes from, water or fluid, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so, and the stars are the light sources that it's talking about mostly. I mean, it could be alluding to other things, but really the only sources of light in the universe are stars, right? To divide the day from the night, this is the purpose of the Ma'or, or the lights in the heavens, in the firmament, to divide the light day from the night, for signs, for seasons, for days, for years. Okay, and this is a conspicuous order here because whatever signs means, that's like monuments in the sky, a banner, uh, something that it has the idea of something that's not really moving very fast or not really advancing in any rapid manner. Okay, seasons, what we think of seasons as a 3-month period, all right, and then days, and then years. This isn't in any chronological order. Okay, this is in a weird, odd order, right? So something that doesn't seem to move at all, maybe the constellations and stuff like that. Seasons is perhaps a 3-month period, days and years. Uh, so that's interesting. I have more work to do on that. And then it says to give light upon the earth. Now there's 2 different interpretations for this. The celestial interpretation, terrestrial interpretation would be this specific planet. So the entire universe, hi Phil Tompkins, thanks for watching. The entire universe, all of the light in the universe, if this is just suggesting that its purpose is to give light upon this planet, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that all of the light is to give light on the other matter that's within the universe, all the solid matter. Okay, so the purpose of the stars are to shine light on the matter that does not, emit light itself. Okay, and then you have another reason: the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, to divide the light from the darkness. These are all reasons for the stars and the lights in the firmament of the heaven, all the lights that you see up in the sky, all right, including to determine time, right? So it's not saying, hey, we need to look to the rotation of the earth in order to determine time. It's saying look to the stars and the lights in the heavens to determine time. Now, you can use that to say, all right, the rotation of the earth shows that everything, looks like it's moving, and we can ascertain different measurements of a time that way. But the Bible is saying, in order to know what time is and measure time, you have to look up into the cosmos. And a lot of people are thinking that in order to know what time is, you just need to know the rotation of the earth, which is not exactly the same as it was 6,000 years ago. Pretty close to the same, but not. That's my point. Okay, so interestingly enough, look at this. We could look at 2 lights, a lesser light and a greater light. Now, the terrestrial application of this is that in the daytime, we'll look at the greatest light, and that's obviously the sun. And at night, the biggest light in the sky, sometimes but not all the time, is the moon. All right. Those are the obvious applications. But the conspicuously missing thing here is that it does not name specifically the sun and specifically the moon. And I think that is to leave it open for also a cosmological application. Now, what are we looking for in the sky? Two different great lights, okay? A lesser light and a greater light, okay? Now, in the cosmos, there are two major things that we see, all right? Lots and lots of stars, okay? And stars emit light. We could even say that they rule the light. They rule the day. They rule what you can see. That's their predominant feature. The other thing we would look for in the cosmos is something that emits light or any type of radiation, but its predominant feature is not light, but it rules the night, okay? And as I have said earlier, that I think the darkness and the night are alluding to gravity. Now, there is a predominant light in this, or an object in outer space. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for watching. That does emit light, even though it's not. It's the smallest version of light you can possibly get, and its predominant feature is gravity, and that is a black hole. And a black hole, they say, oh, not even light escapes from it, but they do know that there is radiation that radiates from it, and it's called Hawking radiation, and it's a quantum level thing. When a quantum thing splits off, part of it's sucked into the black hole, and the other part is spewed out into space. So it does qualify for emitting light in a radiation form, because light is just radiation, right? And that's what I'm saying, is that these are two predominant features here in Genesis that shows that one extreme is to demonstrate the absolute power over gravity, which is identified as black hole, and the other one is the absolute power, and nothing beats it when it comes to light. Very interesting. So my point tonight is just to point those things out, and to make the point that in order to measure time, we are to look into the cosmos like the Bible tells us, and not to assume that a day just means this earth, because it doesn't say anything about the arets. It says look into the lights of the sky, and the lights in the sky are to determine the signs, the seasons, days, and years. Any thoughts to that, Sam?
That's a lot to absorb. I don't know Hebrew, so I knew you were going to ask me to talk, but I was like, I don't really know what I can say. It's interesting. I understand you more now, so I feel like you've thought about it more, because we've had this conversation before in different forms, and I'm always...
Pastor Graydon is on. Hi, that's my pastor. I'm going to click wave, and I'll also wave. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
You just missed a whole bunch. You'll have to watch the rest.
Welcome to Open Forum.
Yeah, Open Forum.
We
just talked about timing and Genesis 1, so you can look, watch this later on the rerun.